Hello, beautiful peasants, and welcome in to another lovely day at the Tavern. And it's a new month, so happy September 1st. I'm so happy for summer to finally be closing out, and we spent so much time this weekend outside, my husband and I, and it was just so nice. I actually opened up the windows again. You forget how stuffy the house gets when you can't open the windows because it's hot and humid and terrible. So yeah, very happy that cooler weather is coming. To start us off with some lovely good vibes is my really cute tentacle. So she is wishing you a happy fall. Alright, who do we got here today? We got Ricky Hoover. That's my husband. Hello, hello. He was first, but then immediately overruled by the peasants. Hello to Empress, my lovely mod Reaper. Micah. Hello, hello to all of you. It was a long weekend, felt like it. So on Sunday, yesterday, Ricky and I celebrated our 11-year anniversary. And if you're like, gee, you seem a little young for that, yeah, we're high school sweethearts, so the maths. But it's funny because once we get like officially technically married, I don't know if we just restart the timer or not, or how that works. I don't know. Reaper says cute is a strong word. Look at her. Cute as a button. She kind of does have a button nose. Yeah, 11 years. I know. Crazy. We had a really good time. We mostly just kicked back and watched college football like all weekend. And then we grilled up some ribeyes on Sunday. And by we, I mean he did. And I just like stood by watching. So yeah, I was moral support. We threw potatoes on the grill too. And like I had them like wrapped in foil with like oil and salt and pepper. And we just straight up left them on there, and we just ate ribeye for like lunch, dinner, and that was it. But we had the idea of having a side, so I think that counts for something. Yeah, but we just left them on there. Actually, threw away the potatoes this morning because we didn't even get to them. They were really big ribeyes. Okay, I don't know if Ricky is watching at this exact moment or if he's already starting work as well. But if you're watching, honey, you should throw a picture of the ribeyes that you grilled in here because they were amazing, so good. Also, if you're watching, hi honey, love you. I think I confuse people by saying like, oh, if he's already working. Ricky and I do this together for the few people that are like, oh, what does he do for a living? He does this. We just aren't in the same room right now. That's it. I hope y'all have been well. And if not, I hope today's stream makes your day a little bit better. We are going to be sculpting a Dwarf Sorceress today, which to me is always funny just because I grew up playing Dragon Age and dwarves can't be magic users, so yeah, always funny to me. There's those ribeyes and the potatoes that we didn't eat, and he says love you too. Aw. It kind of looks like a really deranged face the way you have that arranged. Anyway, they were fantastic. Hello, Aloha. Goodness. And just Lingle, welcome in, welcome in. Also, I haven't done a warm-up sculpt in a hot minute because I'm really happy to get to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. This monster I'm going to be posing in ZBrush. And one of the poses, they're both actually pretty easy. So since I have Empress in the chat especially, I mean, and Aloha. Though, Aloha, I don't know if you have problems with posing or not. If you want, I can run through a quick pose on this character here. It would literally take like not even 10 minutes. So if you guys want to see a little ZBrush sculpting demo or posing demo, just put pose in the chat. Otherwise, I might not see it. And if you don't care, then don't say pose. Pose when? I'm laughing because like, I don't know if you guys caught this, but like sometime last month we had some rando join the stream and like some people just have like no tact when it comes to like typing stuff online. There's no effort. There's no punctuation. They just put pose when. And it stuck with me because it was like so harmlessly rude for no reason. Anyway, pose when. Oh my goodness. There we go, Empress. Yes, pose for the camera. Click, click. I got you, Empress. Alright. Why do I feel so out of breath today? I literally have done nothing but just sit here. Ooh, wind pose. I like that. We're changing it up a little bit. Okay. Pose for money. Not that kind of stream. Okay. So when you want to pose a character in ZBrush, you hide anything you don't want to move. So I don't need to pose the base, right? So I just went ahead and hid that in the subtool right here. And you go up to Z plugin, transpose master. And then you got these two buttons here that make no sense. You have T-pose mesh and T-pose sub T. All you need to think of this as a start and an end button. Just think of it that way. Start. Excuse me. Oh, hey, Louise is here. And the stream is not ending on you. Yay. I always feel so bad when people come back and they're like, because Louise, you're still pretty new. You're like early peasant. You're not full peasant status yet. Anyway, and I feel so bad when you come back and like the stream is literally ended the second you showed up. But anyway, hello. We're doing a quick pose here. Alright, so if you notice, now that we're in Transpose Master, all my subtools have been combined into one subtool. And then everything we have here is now the lowest subdivision level. For this first pose, I'm going to kind of just do her sleeping. So I'm going to hold Command Shift, I'm going to click on her feet, I'm going to hold Command again, click off of the model, you'll see it makes it dark. And now Command Shift click one more time, shows the whole model, and then Command click. So now that's masked. I know it's a lot of clicking, I do it really quickly. But I promise, just when you're first learning your hotkeys and stuff, I recommend saying them out loud. Or at least it helped me a lot. I literally was just like, Command, now click, now hold, not Command. And on Windows, it's just Control. All right, so she's gonna be sitting, because we're gonna do a little sleeping pose here. But she has this huge belly, so. There we go. I'm gonna turn perspective on and off just to see where we're looking here. This tentacle needs to be moved. So again, every time you see me isolate, I'm just masking a piece. And just, I know I make it look really easy. It's a lot of clicking. I promise it gets easier. I've done it literal thousands of times. And I can use my move brush to kind of scoot things into place. There we go. All right, so her arms makes her look awfully awake, doesn't it? So I'm gonna turn on symmetry right here because this part of her body is symmetrical. And we're gonna just mask these areas. I'm gonna hold Command and click on the mesh to blur that area. Take a shot every time I say Command. Anyway. Anything else important here? Micah's talking about their dad. Oh, I love that. It's about time for me to talk about my Weatherman dad. Can I call him Weatherman dad anymore? Because he's retired. He'll always be Weatherman dad. Okay. Emperor says, since I won't be using Character Creator 4, I have to do it in ZBrush. I was also maybe thinking of posing in Blender, but I don't need, oh my god, I have no need if I know ZBrush. No, I get ya. You can absolutely just do it in ZBrush. I did that for years. The only reason that we use Character Creator is so Ricky can take some of that work off of me. And I can make even more characters that way. So she's sleeping, so I just brought her arms kind of down to her side here. I'm gonna use the move brush to make them a bit straighter. Be really careful when you're using the move brush to pose, because you really shouldn't. I know it's confusing for like Empress is like, but you just said, I'm like, I know. Unless you really know exactly what you're doing, don't use the move brush to pose. That's crazy. Just use the move brush to move things, okay? I'm just using it to like squish around these tentacles. There we go. I'm gonna hide her feet in these tentacles here so I can move this down. Also, Empress, really important to note, don't mess with topology when you're in Transpose Master. So don't mask something and then like delete it. If you delete topology when you're in Transpose Master, it doesn't know what to do with those missing vertices. So when it goes back to normal ZBrush, it can't do it. So just keep that in mind. You can move stuff around, but you can't actually change the topology count. Does that make sense? Don't delete stuff. You're not allowed. Not in Transpose Master. And also, that being said, if you use Transpose Master but you have something hidden in one of your subtools, they'll break it too. Alright, so since she's sleeping, I'm going to move her head down too, kind of on her chest and probably off to the side. And to do that, I'm going to mask her head, click W for 3D gizmo, and I can hold down Option, that's Alt on Windows. And you want to put the gizmo where the joint is. Because your head does not rotate from up here. Okay, that looks fine. There, see how this looks ridiculous? This isn't how we do this. Don't do this. Make sure you're putting the gizmo where the joint is, which is gonna be right, your spine, right here, the back of your neck. Also, don't get in a habit of trying to move the transpose, like the gizmo, when you're like weird and floating in space. Look at it straight on, line it up. Look at it straight on from the other side, line it up, and then you're done. You only have to use 2 movements instead of like 600 because you keep rotating the camera and confusing yourself. Front view, move, side view, move, done. Okay, I'm gonna rotate this down, over a little bit, and then I use the move brush again to pull her hair out of her. That's a sentence. And then this tentacle is looking awfully awake, so we're gonna make it a sleep tentacle. Does that make sense? And then of course we're doing 2 poses for this, because if you're doing a sleeping pose, how awesome is it to also have an action pose to terrify your players? I love encounters where the monster is sleeping, because it's pretty much like you're tempting your players. It's like, don't be stupid, I'm giving you an option here. Alright. She's just a sleepy baby. And that's a really quick, simple pose tutorial. Now that I'm done adjusting the pose, if you're not watching and you're like at work or something, let me have your attention for like 10 seconds. Go to Z plugin, T pose sub T, just think end, and then check this out. It's really satisfying to watch. It's all gonna bend all at once. So all the deformations we did in Transpose Master are now being applied rapidly to our subtools. There you go. Took 8 seconds. How cool is that? And then I'll move the base up. And there you go. Our cutie patootie. I guess I should close her eyes if she's asleep. There we go. Ooh, maybe I should give her a bunch of drool. I love sculpting monsters. But there we go. She's been posed. Info says, understood. Good. Dot mesh to stretch, Z mesh for detail. More like cleanup. T-pose to reposition. My favorite part of T-pose. Yes, yes. Oh, and someone new is here. Black gloves. And of course, looks like your profile picture is of black gloves. I love that. Inanimate object. Hello, welcome. Clean. I mean, more like filthy and rotting, but no, seriously, thank you. I want to do a little quick pose demo here. And also for full transparency, that's a terrible pose demo. I'm gonna tell you why. When I was learning how to sculpt, I watched 100 videos that show what we just did here, where it's like, oh, they posed and it looks so easy. There's always gonna be resculpting, okay? So we didn't have to move her shoulders or like her arm here up. When you move an armpit area, listen, there is a lot going on. The next time you're in the bathroom, in the mirror, about to get in the shower or whatever, look in the mirror and look behind you and like move your arm and your shoulder, and you're gonna see your shoulder blade and how much that moves and rotates. It's ridiculous. Same with your armpit. A lot changes. And it doesn't mean you're bad at posing, it just means you need to know you're gonna have to resculpt stuff. That goes for your knees, that goes for your arms, elbows, even like your hips as well. Again, that's like half the model right there. Just know there's usually a lot of resculpting. She's so large and droopy. It's covering a lot of that. But just know that generally speaking that you're gonna have to resculpt. It's normal. It's normal. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Oh, and then here is that unposed version. So also Empress, really important. By default, it's not going to save your unposed version. So just go to your tools up here and do a little copy tool, paste tool. That way you still have one of your copies here unposed, okay? Reaper says, she's got some sassiness. She kind of does. Need to give her a purse. Oh good, the peasants are saying hello to Black Gloves. I love that. We got a really friendly community here. There you go. Emperor says, oh whoops, sorry. It's Super Monday for me. I meant subdiv for detail, not ZBrush. Also, yes. I knew you got it. I could tell you knew what you're talking about. You just said the complete wrong thing. But I knew. I did. I was like, she's got it. Alrighty. Okay, we are moving on to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. So let's get to it. Okay, hello and welcome to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. This is where I take a request that I got from a Patreon supporter, thank you guys so much, and I make it a 3D printable model. So let's go ahead and check out what we are doing today. Alrighty. So today's request is from the one, the only, the lovely Dr. Wildfire. She's also my DM. She's great. Fun fact though, like I didn't know her before Patreon. She supported me on Patreon for years and now I play D&D together. Small world. Dr. Wildfire says, I have another character in one of my games. Her name is Draca. She's a dwarf and an elemental magic user, specifically wood and stone. She wears armor made of leaves and has dragon wings, looks something like leaves as well. She wears a pendant made of very smooth, very clear blue stone. It holds something like a genie. I said, awesome, let's get to it. So I went onto Pinterest and I grabbed some references I liked. Pretty simple here as far as the reference go, because this is not my first rodeo making leaf-styled armor. It's not my first time making leaf-styled armor for Dr. Wildfire specifically, funny enough. So I really, really enjoy the vibes of this. I think it's very cool. And just like a small note for y'all, this is AI. Most things that you see on Pinterest are probably AI. If you are constructing stuff to be inspired by, for like vibes and general vibes, that's fine. But be careful, one, of copying anything on the internet, because what's the point of being an artist if you're not going to make artistic decisions? Take components, find things that you like. I like the general spread of the leaves here, and I like how the pauldrons taper, and there's so many here that looks leaf-like. Same with the structuring here, I think is quite nice. You kind of have this breastplate shape without just being like boob armor, which again, I love me some boob armor, but we need variation. I like that there's also kind of this leaf tacit happening here. And then this kind of shape here gets a little smushy. Because again, it's AI, so just be careful. Just don't copy things on the internet. They're just references. You can take pieces, take vibes, but grab a lot of references, okay? Here's a couple I have of this leaf dragon wing idea we have. And there we go. I actually don't have too many references for this one because I have a pretty clear idea of what I want. I could do a whole live stream just about references and how to use references. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on. Oh my gosh, Aloha. Aloha says, Nia, when I mentioned hard surface. Nia, when others mentioned hard surface. Yeah, I did. I totally came at you sideways for no reason. You were like, oh, when's next hard surface time? I'm like, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm so sorry. Alrighty, let's move on. Gonna step over that. And we're gonna make this dwarf. And we never saw Aloha again. Just kidding. Oh, also, Aloha, I'm super excited about your project. I feel like my response to you was kind of short this morning, the DM I sent, just because I was cooking this morning, had a lot to do. But more on that idea I mentioned of like, since it's a collection, it's cool when a collection is thematically similar, like it's all grim dark. But what really takes it to the next level is usually if there is some sort of symbol or component. Like this is a little too basic for you, maybe. You can make anything cool. But like for example, if they all had like a stone in their chest, whether they had like tentacle flesh covering it up, you like could see a little bit of it, but they all have like, it's like infinity stones. But anyway, something like that. And it could be very subtle. And it could even be missable if people look at it. But if you're marketing that, not just for money, but like as an appealing set, it's really fun when there's a detail like that. So just want to plant that seed in your head. Otherwise, sometimes people can just dismiss it as a bunch of cool, scary monsters. But it's like, no, there's more layers to it than that. So just food for thought. Alrighty. Reaper says, me thinks you should make a secret account, Aloha, so you can pose important questions. Oh, that's right. I was gonna say, I'm like, Aloha can ask me questions. And like literally at the end of last stream, Aloha was like, wait, I have a question. And I just said no. Yeah. Yeah. My mods get the unfiltered version of me. I think that's fair. Okay, time to sculpt the dwarf. Got 2 mods here today. Love it. We are satyr-less for a little bit, but not forever. Whenever time permits, we'll have all 3 mods back again. But in the meantime, the Tavern continues. We're going to start with our beginning ZPR. If you're not familiar with my process here, it's kind of a unique one. I sculpt hundreds of characters a year. So to make that sustainable, I have an asset library that I draw from. And it's like, oh, where'd you get your asset library? It's me. I still do everything. I just reuse. I make sure that old me is working for future me. Yes. So here is a female body base. I also have a male. And then if I go over to load tool, you'll see that I actually have a bunch of body types here. And again, it's like, oh, where'd you get these body types? I made them. Again. There's no secret shortcut for that. You do have to do the work at least once. Alright, so I have Dwarf and I have Chunk the Dwarf. I think that's our really burly one. Yeah. Do I have any female dwarfs? Not really. I could repurpose my female gnome instead. She's too tall. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a dwarf. I haven't done a lot of female dwarves, so I'll probably create that base mesh first. Sounds good, Aloha. And Aloha says, yes, ma'am. I will link them together as something cool visually. I figured you already planned on that, but I'm just so excited. All right, so here is our dwarf mesh that I have used before. It's a little tall, and it's very much so a dude. So let's improve this first of all. You can tell what base meshes are a little bit old because they don't have like these like modesty garments, as I call them, because YouTube doesn't generally care, but sometimes it does. So since I started streaming, regularly, I make sure to put on these little like shorts and stuff, which is funny because I definitely have sculpted like full nude models and that was fine. The only stream I've had flagged for nudity when I was sculpting a zombie, and it was like super gruesome and gross. It didn't show anything. It was decaying everywhere. So I was like, I don't know why that got flagged. But anyway. So here is our simple base mesh. Doesn't have any color. We should fix that first. Alrighty. We're gonna go with a tannish color here. And then maybe like a reddish for the beard. I'm just going to fill object to get that color. Why do I have so many? Oh, that's right, because I kept loading in subtools but not deleting them. Oh my goodness, that's right. So this was actually made from my gnome base, who was very cute. She had these big eyes and freckles, and that's why this has lipstick and looks terrifying. Obviously, I didn't remember that. Not important. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the eyeballs from this mesh because I don't want to do them again. Painting eyes is really not that hard, just takes a little bit of time. I have a different material on here as well. I have toy plastic. And then I have like this black line on top, and that's to, your eyes, you know, are obviously shaded because they're in your head. There we go. So I'm just getting this kind of put together before I make a female version. Perfect. Don't need to move those at all. We'll spend probably 10 to 15 minutes here in this kit bashing stage and putting this new base together. I'm also gonna go ahead and grab the eyelash brick I have and the eyebrows. I do this like brick right here because all of these are designed for 3D printing, and painting faces is hard, so I want to make it as easy as possible on myself, and part of what I do for that is making sure the eyelashes are printable. Oh, I almost forgot to ask, what are you guys working on this lovely Monday? We have quite a few artists in the chat, but we also have people that are working in STEM, customer relations. Why did I say that? I was gonna say like human resources. Anyway, just curious what your Monday is up to. All right, and then let's go ahead and get some poly paint. Ooh, this ear is kind of screwed up, isn't it? There we go. Reaper says, I was arting. What are you arting today? All right, we'll make a new folder, call this mail. And we'll put everything in there that is male related. And I'm gonna duplicate the base, and it's gonna be the beginning of our female folder. And then by the end of this, we'll have a male and a female dwarf base match for me to use in the future. And I know it's like, oh, we're gonna keep the beard because it's a female dwarf. No, I'm not. Unless it's specifically requested by the person that wants it, I don't default to having beards with my dwarves. I know. How boring. All right, as of right now, this is literally just a dude with eyelash extensions on, but we are going to feminize this in just a moment. Let me go ahead and save this into my bodies folder. Perfect. Just says, no work or school today. Catching up on my other life. Getting my crap together for a second. Yeah, I need to do that too. But until then, we are in the TAVERB and we are sculpting a dwarf. All right, so let me rename this piece here, female. All right. We're gonna change this to polyskin for just a moment and then no color. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna drop it to the lowest subdivision level and we're going to feminize this. So this is gonna happen pretty quickly. If you have any questions, please let me know. So one of the first things we're gonna do is change where the fat is allocated on the body. We're going to push her belly in a little bit, but then bring this little outer pooch out. We don't want to lose the edge of the rib cage though. And then of course, boobs. So for that, we're going to mask kind of like this teardrop shape. It's gonna be right on top of the pec muscles. We're gonna invert that mask and then use the move brush. Remember, boobs are teardrop shaped, not hemispheres. You can like what you like, and that's fine. But if you're like sculpting a body, teardrop, not hemisphere. There we go. That's about right. And again, I want her a bit more square still. We're gonna add a little bit more volume to her thighs. And then we're also going to make her shoulders less broad. If you want to give them that kind of like small waist or like snatched look, it's not from crushing their waist down, it's actually by broadening their hips. We're gonna make her arms a tiny bit shorter and the hands a tiny bit smaller. Same with the feet. Slightly smaller feet, slightly smaller hands. We're also gonna make her just shorter in general. That's partly because I just think this dwarf mesh is a little tall anyway. All right, now moving on to the head. So these sternocleidomastoid, whatever you pronounce that, muscles are going to be softened considerably, more of a taper to the neck. Just making the neck a little less thick in general. The ears a touch smaller. And then it's really just adding a lot of fat to the face. Making the jawline a little less severe. Bringing up the chin, more of a rounded mark here. And again, more fat right here especially. It was a really popular trend with celebrities for a while to get this removed, this is called buccal fat. And yeah, it makes you age terribly because that's a youthful look. So don't get your buccal fat removed, kids. Okay. We're gonna make the nose a little less broad. Again, it's not about like just making everything smaller. It's more about the proportions and how they all relate. Hello, says my favorite artist with a funny accent is Reaper. That's great. Reaper, how do you feel about that? I'm gonna make the eyebrows and the eyelashes separate meshes. I mean, they're already separate meshes, I just mean separate subtools. And then for our dwarf here, I would like the eyebrows were thicker. I'm also gonna hide the eyelashes for just a second. Another important thing is softening the brow bone here. Make her lips a little bit smaller and a little bit wider. And again, this brow bone here, just softening all of this. I use the word soften because it makes more sense to me, but it's pretty much like to sculpt like a woman. I just take a man, I add more fat to it, and then I blur the whole thing. That's how I think of it. And again, there's always exceptions to the rule. You can kind of like mix and match features. Because there's plenty of people, most people I'd say look a bit androgynous. It's just the way that like they style themselves or dress that will make them look one way or the other. And then right here especially, like adding a little bit more fat. And I get, if you're like, oh my goodness, so you just like take the model and just cover it all in fat? And I'm like, yeah, there's fat all over our bodies. If it's not skin or muscles, it's fat. That's fine. And then we're gonna move her eyelashes into place. And then last but not least, I almost forgot about her butt. This is one of the few things that I find a lot easier to do. So on men, a butt looks more like a heart. It's like this shape essentially. And then on women, you just flip it upside down to where it's more like a peach. Okay, so in order to do that, we'll kind of broaden this out. And then the hip shape changes. I think the only bone that's actually completely different on men and women is the pelvis. Obviously proportions and stuff and like size of things, but I think as far as like skeleton goes. And then, oh yeah, and the ribcage. And then making her stance a little less squared, and then softening the lats. Just really making her just a little less broad, but still a dwarf and still nice and stout. There we go. All right, that's pretty much the transformation. And now we do those little funny modesty garments for YouTube. I'm just using my mask brush to accomplish that. Oh, and then this is a fat pad that you see on women but not men. See right here, there's this little bit of fat right here. It's not present on all women, but it is a more common one. All right, I think we're set. Maybe a little bit more belly here. Can you tell I've done that once or twice? All right, so here is our female version. And then here is the male. We'll do a little side by side, and I'll probably see some more things I want to change or modify. I could use visibility sets, I forgot. But there you go. It's a lot of subtle things. Any questions? Empress. You're welcome. Why sculpt the whole thing from scratch? We can just modify what you got. Empress says, I wish I was less broad. Anyone know how to human to 3D software yet? I need to edit something. Dude, broad shoulders are so underrated. May I recommend halter tops and stuff like that? Like, there are ways to accentuate it. I get what you mean though, because like proportionally, I have broader shoulders too, even though all of me is pretty small. But no, it's a good thing. It's actually a really fun proportion to dress. I'm gonna use my visibility sets so I can toggle back and forth easily. And then let's get some poly paint. That's horrifying. Very nice. How come you have color and you don't? All right, we're gonna set up our scene really quick too. There we go. I think her eyes are a little bit small, which is making her look very annoyed. Go for larger pupils if you want your character to look a bit sweeter. There we go. And now for a little bit of makeup, but also just some human colors. So it looks really weird when just one pale color. Here is how you fix that. The easiest way, if you're like short on time, is just go in with some red. And that's gonna add a lot of life to this character. Remember, you should never be painting with your RGB intensity on 100. Just something a little lighter, something that you can blend. And you also want to be, just say like, again, just think more pale. And by pale, I really don't mean like literally white. I mean like desaturated. And then I'll be making some fine-tune adjustments here. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and save this. We'll update. Oh, Lara says, I got my tattoo booked in for this weekend. No kidding! I need to get a lovely portrait of my favorite dog, Torben. I'm so glad you have such a nice dog, Aloha. I was so excited for you. Are you actually getting a tattoo or not? I take back my excitement. Anyway. We are sculpting. All right, now that we have this base mesh here, it's time to get like the kit bashing element done. So she's a magic user. I'm gonna be dressing her up in like this leaf-like armor. So she's kind of like a paladin sorceress is the way that I'm gonna think about this design-wise. I think if she had like a thick braid on one side of her, that would look really cool. Let me look at some hairstyles I already have. I'm gonna use this one. Yes. Okay. Aloha, it is too early for that. Oh my goodness. Reaper just says bold to Aloha. I agree. Thought about banning you, but I didn't. Alright, again, I like this kind of reddish color. It'll contrast the green armor. The kit bashing stage always looks ridiculous. It's one of my favorite. And it's like, why kit bash instead of just like sculpt what you want from the get-go? And I'm like, that, dear friend, is because I don't know what I want exactly. I just have an idea. So this helps me get through that more quickly. All right, this all looks good. She does have a fancy pendant, and then there are going to be some like leaf and nature motifs throughout. I don't think I want to put literal antlers on her though. Okay, we're good. All right, is there any of this I can modify? I mean, this already looks quite leafy. Let's give it a richer color. And obviously this doesn't quite fit the body, so to do that, all I do is just use my move brush. I'm very careful, obviously, in using it, but there we go. And that's why you'll notice most things in my asset library are very low poly, and this is so I can iterate and move them around really quickly. And there you go. She's dressed a little bit. Obviously, we need to do some fine-tuning, but here's a good start. Last but not least, she needs some pants. Oh, and some shoes. That would be good. Aloha says, yay, I didn't get booped out of the chat for that one. And I already have some tattoos. That checks out, actually. That does check out. Wear shoes. I might go with this armored boot here. Yes. Reaper says, Mia, I request you to boop Aloha for the sake of him jinxing himself. Okay. Speak and you shall receive. Goodbye, Aloha. Everyone say goodbye to Aloha. I will let you resolve that, Reaper, when Aloha comes back. I'm sure you guys can handle that on your own. I think she can rock the armor, but just in straight up underwear look. What do you guys think? Well, that at least made Reaper's day better, so. I feel like Reaper was like Aloha was being like nice to Reaper too. I mean, you did say that she has a funny accent, but other than that. Alright, let's put some pants on her. This will be really quick. Simply use your mask lasso brush, put your model at the lowest subdivision level, and then go to extract. Always at 0 thickness, because less polys, less problems. And it's like, well, if it's 0 thickness, is it going to print? Obviously not. You will need to do that later. If you're wondering, like, well, wouldn't it be easier to have thickness now then? The answer is still no. That's a man. Oh, I have the male base mesh showing. I'm like, I thought I did a better job at making her look feminine. I forgot. Okay, that is just literally a man. Okay, 1 second. So here's a before. Oh my God. Ah, stop. Christ. In case you're wondering, here's a feminine, cute man. God damn it. Why does that beard keep showing all at once? Cannot control it. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna delete all of the male subtools. There we go. She's very cute. Just Lingual says Aloha. Lower question, and me. What would this dwarf do for a Klondike bar? Trying to think if she'd even like minty flavors. I think she would. Some good toothpaste flavor. I think she'd turn someone to stone. That's within her capability too. Look, there's Aloha. Can I come back in yet? No. If anyone new is hanging out, like, what the hell is happening? Essentially, we have a really sweet, small community here, and I have 3 mods, which is, quite frankly, probably 3 too many. So my mods just bully each other in place of the drama that would normally happen with a large stream or a large community. You make do with what you got. I feel like I could use these leaves to do something interesting. Right now it looks like a weird hula skirt ordeal. Some like vine armor could be cool too. I've only ever done that on one of my characters and I loved it. So part of the kit bashing that's fun is that you want to like, so when I kit bash, I like to overcomplicate my design and then refine from there. Alright, let's delete my asset libraries and let's look at what we got, and it officially begins the sculpting element as we leave the kit bashing phase. Oh, we need to add a base too. Reaper says, blech, mint chocolate. I love mint chocolate. Toothpaste flavor. I never understand people are like, why do you like mint chocolate, just toothpaste flavor? And I'm like, I still don't see what the problem is. Alright, definitely a nature base, obviously, because very naturey character. If you're wondering why am I putting a base on it, good question. It's because everything I make is for 3D printing. Specifically tabletop characters. Mushroom armor can potentially grow through some caves, etc. They specified that it's gonna be leaf, but I do like the idea. There we go. Micah says, I love mint chocolate and peanut butter. Together or separate? Because I can definitely agree with separate. You're losing me a little bit if it's together. I'm just laughing at my mods mocking each other. Good job, guys. Never change. Actually, unless this community actually does need some real moderating at some point, then I might have to fire you. Until then, you're 4 feet tall. Yeah. Sorry, Reaper. Okay, We're gonna go ahead and put a little stamp up here. Oh, we need to save this as well. Together or separate. Losing me a little bit, but okay. Dwarf, Sorceress. And then we'll put a little stamp up here of our progress. We got a long way to go. She doesn't have any appeal right now. All right, so what I like to do when I am refining the sculpt, because after I kit bash, obviously it's like, okay, now it's time to make it look good. I usually work from head to toe or toe to head, but again, it's kind of like a printer top bottom sort of situation. I'm gonna start from the top because her hair is a disaster. So, first thing we're gonna do is cut off this ponytail, which means I need to remove all these little rings and stuff too. Let's cut that off, close. And I don't know about these like swoopies we have right here. I think it's gonna be a little too noisy. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete all of those poly groups as well. Something a bit shorter. And the same with these rings up front, we'll no longer need them. And again, this is the beauty of having an asset library, but also creating stuff with intention so that I can really easily change it. We're gonna move this hair tie over a touch and then scoot her hair into said hair tie. Next, we're gonna create this like thick braid that kind of droops over her shoulder. I'm gonna use a curved brush. This braid brush, there's a free one online. There's a bunch of free braid brushes. You could also just sculpt it. Essentially, it's, let me show it to you. Here you go. You just take 3 individual strands and you intertwine them. But why bother when it's a free brush online? So I just take. We're gonna modify a touch here though. And one of those things is this brush by default kind of behaves a little funny. You need to change, make sure your picker is on continuous Z. And then I believe it works backwards. Yes, so you actually start where it ends. Usually I go the other way. I'm also going to lock start here because otherwise when I click and drag, it just kind of like moves around, which isn't very helpful. So I'm gonna go to stroke, curve modifiers. No, curve, I always forget. Curve, and then make sure lock start is enabled. So that way I can choose where it ends. And now I can continue the brush. You have to be very careful. So see how there's like this black and red dotted line? Get kind of close to it. There you go. See how the little red line snaps in? There it is. There it is. And now I can click and drag and continue it. It kind of gets upset. It's very sensitive. The curved brush is like your very, very sensitive good friend. Like you love them, but you careful what you say around them. But as long as you're careful, everyone has a really good time. As I get older, I have less and less friends like that, not an accident. Anyway, so now you take this. I'm gonna use my move brush here and just kind of squish it into place. If I want to be more precise, I could mask it instead. Okay, I like how thick the braid is back here, but I didn't realize just how thin it is right here. I don't like it. So we're gonna do it again. Oh, look, Aloha's back. Hello, hello, welcome back. All right, that looks good. Let's try it again. If it makes it all skinny and dumb again, I'll have to do this in 2 separate pieces. Nope, it was behaved. It didn't really continue, it just drew a brand new braid brush. Whatever. Let's go back here and then delete that section. All right, not bad. Again, needs a little shaping, but we can see what it was trying to do. By default, when you subdivide it, I think it looks a little bit more like worms or spaghetti, and you kind of lose a lot of the structure. So here's how I fix that. zoom in, turn on Shift F, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna crease these lines here. I'm gonna grab my Z modeler brush, hold spacebar over one of the lines, and then crease edge loop. There you go. And now I subdivide, there's a bit more structure, you kind of have that crease on there, it just looks a bit better. I still think the braid's a little too small. So we're gonna make it a bit larger. And I can mask what's left here and increase the size manually. Just like that. Before, after. All right, now it's time to fix the way this sits on her head and stuff, because again, we're looking a little ridiculous. We also need some sort of little hair tie accessory at the end of her braid. I don't really care if it sits far off her body right now, because I'm really not gonna fine tune that until the model is really kind of like finished and posed. We'll make this a cute little bauble accessory later. But for now, just a placeholder. Okay, the way that this fits on her head is driving me crazy. So let's make this look nicer. First things first is, I don't think she needs any of these little swoopy bits, or at least much, much fewer. Let me go ahead and delete pretty much all of them. All right. Next up is using my move brush and just kind of loosening up this hairstyle to look more interesting and with a little bit more volume. I'll probably add an asymmetrical detail to this as well. So right now her hairline's right in the middle of her head. We're gonna break symmetry and I'm gonna push it. That's her whole head. That is not what I wanted. We're gonna grab her hair and we're going to move her hairline over. Quite literally just using the move brush. I don't care how clean this looks right now, I just want to move it over and see kind of a preview of how it's going to look. Yeah, I don't mind that. Move her braid over some more. I like that better, having this kind of like swoopy bang thing going on. So much better. I almost never keep the center hairline, and if you're wondering like what's the point of even having it then, because if I had this as my base mesh, this is a lot harder to manipulate. There we go. And I'll still be adjusting her face a touch here. Oh, we have a really funny head shape, don't we? There we go. I'm gonna use my damp sander brush to define some features on her face. I like having damp standard with lazy radius turned on because it just makes the whole thing look a little bit smoother. I'm going to define her nostrils a touch more. There we go. Her eye shape's a bit odd too. We're gonna hide her eyes for just a second here so I can kind of adjust the eyeball shape. There we go. And then make her eyebrows a bit fluffier. I'm not gonna give her a beard, she at least needs to have luscious eyebrows. Also in honor of Aloha, who loves a good fluffy eyebrow. All right, let's bring her eyeballs back and fit them into place. I might need to just paint new eyeballs. These ones are not wanting to fit into place and they're looking a bit cursed. It's because the pupil is too darn small. All right. I said what I said, so now I have to fix the thing. I went ahead and painted the eyeballs one flat color. And now I can paint them to fit this face. I thought I could get away with it. I could not. All right, really quick eyeball. I keep calling them eyebrows. Eyeball painting. Grab your paintbrush, change from dots to dry rectangle. Make this nice and dark, and then increase your RGB intensity. Hey, Ataka, welcome in. And Leah Wolf. Hello, hello. I think you've been here before, but it's been a long time. Either way, hello, welcome in. We're painting eyeballs, not eyebrows. All right, so if you go with a really small pupil, they look deranged. And if you go with a larger pupil, they look a bit softer. So you want to have a black, like, pupil first, just the whole thing black. No, not pitch black, but like dark gray. And then choose your iris color. We'll go with let's do like a bright blue. And then again, once you have your iris color, then the pupil. Tiny pupil, crazy. Large pupil, friendlier. I don't make the rules. This is just the way of things. I should have lowered the focal shift a little bit more, so it's a little bit of a blurry eyeball situation, but it's okay. I do like to go through and add the white highlights manually. Just make sure you don't have symmetry turned on, otherwise it won't work. Look how much sweeter her face looks now. I think it's gotten a little too small. I don't want her looking too young. So to fix that, you want to change the distance from their eyes to their nose. The shorter that is, the more baby. So long triangle. You draw like a line between your eyes, and then this is a triangle. The longer that is, the older they'll look. So again, baby, older. I know they both look just deformed. There we go. Oh God. Ah, my brush got stuck. I don't like how these hair strands are looking, so we're going to give them a little bit of a remodel here. I'm going to go into Dynamesh and then ZBrush. I'll try to clean these up for a second. Let's make these much blobbier and then ZBrush. When it comes to hair, my best recommendation for y'all, you gotta stop overthinking it. Just think big shapes, okay? Don't think individual hair strands. The second you go into individual hair strand hell, it's really hard to get out. You just want to think, what shape is this? If you're listening and you're like, I'm gonna need you to explain better than that, that made no sense. I can explain better than that. I encourage you, just think about it. Big shapes. Exactly, Aloha. Big shapes. All right. Let's go ahead and detail her pants for an easy win right now. I'm gonna go to close holes. We're gonna subdivide a few times to actually have some polys to work with, and then we're just gonna throw some seams on our pants. Really simple. We can use the damn standard brush, or you can use the slash brush, which is hidden within, here we go, Lightbox. And obviously this isn't the fanciest way to sculpt these details on, but you know what? It's better than having nothing. I design for miniatures, and usually the name of the game is just something. Getting something on there, a clear, defined detail, goes so freaking far. If you want to make it fancier later, like, this design would be more impressive with like fancy stitching right here, you can absolutely go back and do that. But in the beginning, just be more worried about the fact that if they have pants on or not. Don't worry about the stitching on the pants. Make pants, okay? And that goes for just really all character design. It's not even just sculpting. I'm adding compression folds wherever there is compression. So obviously like around the crotch, around the knees. She's got these really lovely full thighs, so these need to have some compression marks because I'm kind of giving her like a tight leather pant here. Look how much nicer that looks. Speaking of her, I think her face looks a bit sweet, but also a bit dead. When in doubt, I like to add dimples or some sort of wrinkle or like a small smile. Just something. Why are we not moving? Ah, my Z intensity is at 4. And I don't need to give her like a big, like huge smile necessarily, but something that just softens her face just a touch here, because she's looking a bit dead. See, that was super small, but it helps. And obviously her hair up here looks so much more detailed than the braid. So if you're like, oh man, how are you gonna like resolve that? Let me show you how. We're gonna click on auto groups, grab our damn standard brush. Or you know what, we'll do one better. I'll show you that slash brush I mentioned earlier. Click comma for Lightbox, brush, and then slash, where are you? And then double click on /2. Maniac says, are slicer subscriptions worth it? God, no, no. And I'm like, I'm sure it depends on what you're doing. I don't know. I do this professionally. I test my own models and stuff. We use Chichibox. No, I don't think they give us a free subscription. I'd have to ask Ricky if it's free. Like, they gave it to us. Am I sponsored and I don't know it? Okay, damn it. I hate giving terrible answers. We're gonna find out. We're gonna go to Chichibox website. We're gonna look at the slicer and we're gonna see what they're trying to make you pay for. And again, it's a business. No hate to Chichibox. Cool, they say download free is a big thing. Here's the smart features. Oh yeah, like if you're hollowing, they make you pay for that now. And then auto supports, we don't even use that either. We just click where it needs to go. Manual support. Oh, these are all just smart features. No, what do you pay for, babe? Efficiency times 100. Here we go. Free. Unlimited slicing on auto and manual supports. There you go. You're done. Don't pay for it. You don't need to. You're not doing Boolean operations. No. No. At least for Chichibox, you do not need this. You can even hollow for free. Okay, good. I was going to be mad. The heck is this for? Run on 2 devices simultaneously. Just have 2 emails or something. I don't know. One-click adaptive support with magic support. Work on up to 100 platforms. What does that even mean? Yeah, cool. No, we do not pay for it. And I know we didn't pay for it. I just know they gave us a free subscription at some point. Yeah, no, you don't need to pay for this. Someone new here with a right away spicy will fight game says just pirate it. No. Listen, there's certain things I totally get if you want to pirate. But if you do want that company to make more of said software, then you can't pirate everything and hope that they will still exist. But then I also understand there's software, you know, like perhaps ZBrush, perhaps this thing that I'm using, where it's like totally inaccessible. Like you have to pay $40 a month just to use ZBrush, just to try it out as a hobbyist. I really wish they had an in-between license for people that aren't using it commercially. Because I don't pay for ZBrush anymore. I bought a perpetual license years ago, but they don't offer that anymore. I'm like, I'm not encouraging y'all to pirate anything. I'm just careful if that's your answer for everything. Ricky said, Cheeky Box gave us a code to upgrade for a year and we never redeemed it. We didn't need to. Oh, there you go. All right, let's start working on this armor here, which we're going to incorporate some of these leaf elements. I'm going to separate all of the main components. So we have the pauldrons here. Alo says, nice PR answer. It's my genuine opinion though. I mentioned I think ZBrush is too expensive and they need to have it in between. But also, don't steal shit. But also, be better, company. Mods approve. Alo was like, oh, and she ruined it. Ah, goodness. All right, broke these into separate pieces, went ahead and do close holes. We're gonna add a bit of a trim piece detail here using ZModeler. Extrude a poly loop, something simple, nice and chunky. There you go. We're gonna make that the same color as the pants. And then flip over on the side here, use your move brush and kind of just like punch this in. You don't see it in many angles, but it does look weird when this is just perfectly flat all the way through. Hey Monkey, welcome in. We are sculpting a dwarf magic user, which again, I always think is illegal because I grew up playing Dragon Age, and that's not a thing. There we go. Adding a bit more interest on that seam there. And then last but not least, some fabric folds. Anywhere there's compression or tension. So if fabric is squishing into your armpits, congratulations, you found a tension, or sorry, compression fold. Says it wrong immediately. These kind of bag up right here. I like to add a lot of fabric folds. There probably doesn't need to be this many. It becomes a kind of a stylistic thing at that point. No, Aloha. I hate that. Don't say that. That is for TAVERB after hour information only. I guess we are getting to the end of the stream. All right, we're gonna detail these leaf pauldrons. I'm gonna add some thickness to these because they currently don't exist. Check that out. Womp, don't exist. What does that mean? That means they're single-sided. Not for long. We're use dynamics subdivision levels. Add some thickness. Obviously, this is not a tutorial. If you're watching, you're like, what the fuck is happening? Ask questions. And I'm happy to go by it step by step. I don't do that by default because I think I'd go crazy if I had to say the exact same thing every day. All right, add dynamic. And we are going to insert some edge loops here. And then I will do some sculptural details on this so they look a bit more like leaves. The shape is good, but we are missing some leafy goodness. There we go, nice and quick. I forgot to have symmetry turned on. Not a problem, I'll just mirror and weld. Alara says, the best part about these streams is the teacher has to look over and read these comments. Yeah, and I've learned with you, I have to read the comment before I read it out loud. Then it goes right back to teaching. Oh yes. Oh yes. Reads your unhinged freaking comment and then back to, anyway, so about leaves. Anyway, so about leaves. A really simple way to detail these is simply to, what are the main components of like what makes a leaf look like a leaf, right? It's got that main center line, which is kind of a higher ridge, and it's got all these little like veiny dents off the sides of it. And since I know that, I can detail this pretty easily. Again, you don't have to go crazy with it. Just a little something. If you have all the time in the world and you can go insane and spend a week on a single pauldron, good for you. But around here, around these parts, I sculpt hundreds of characters a year. It's crazy to think, but it's true. So I am a big fan of the passionate good enough. But passionate because we're not just here to make a quick buck. Can you imagine art being a get-rich-quick scheme? So again, this is what I do for a living, and I absolutely love it. But also, I get stuff done. All right, we're going to add a little more depth to this here by adding some more poly paint. There we go. Kind of like a richer green at the base, and then also using backface mask, you'll get this kind of cool, like, ambient occlusion effect. Let me get my colors. There we go. Looking for some richness. Excellent. And now going to Z plugin, Decimation Master, use and keep poly paint, and we're going to crush this down to 25,000 points. All right, and I don't know if this, yeah, this also does not exist. Can I use close holes on this? Not really. Yes and no. This needs to be its own piece and extruded. This I can use close holes. How does subdivisions do? It does fine. This also needs to be its own piece. We're going to do crease and then subdivision levels. So close holes, crease, and now subdivide. And then we don't have as much of that weirdness going on. Good. I think this centerpiece here should be brown. Yeah. We have two pieces. Yeah, we got like this boob part, and then we got this part. I don't know what color scheme I want for this quite yet. Also, not terribly important. This isn't going to affect the 3D print in any way. I just do it because it's fun. There we go. That's satisfactory. I don't know what this mark is right here. There we go. More details. Details always get all the credit. But the reason why this is coming together so quickly is because the base shapes are interesting. I kind of do this leaf-like shapes, making sure lazy radius is turned on to help out any shakiness in my hand. Although it says, yes, the mark is gone. Yeah, I don't even know when that happened, but I didn't like it either. And if I think it needs it, I will go ahead and... What was I gonna say? The thought is gone. Oh, if I think it needs it, I'll go ahead and add like secondary forms, like of literal leaves stuck to the armor, but I might be able to get away with this more, kind of just like an implication of it. That is a good call, Loa. Good choices. Didn't know you had it in you still. Oh goodness. I feel like these are upside down. We're gonna do a mirror and weld across the Z axis to get more of that leaf shape. These kind of suck. All right, let's fix these. Before I detail them, they need to not suck. All right, let's get these a little more tapered and just overall looking better. I kind of like that. It's almost like a clover. Okay, that's acceptable. We're gonna put our gizmo in the center here, and then we're gonna do a bend curve, or bend arc, so that way it actually fits with the body. Hey, excuse you, no symmetry. Ugh. Why don't I want symmetry? It depends on the operation I'm doing. Generally speaking, I find it confuses ZBrush and shape. Alo says, hey, Sater is the backseater of mods. He's more like come in, say something that I'm already trying to fix and sensitive and mad about, and then disappear. But yeah. Oh, I miss Sater. He will be back in some amount of unknown moons. I don't know what he's got on his plate right now, and honestly, at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. The hell is that? Oh, I had mirror and weld across the Z-axis turned on. I was gonna say, I'm like, doesn't look great. There we go. We fixed it. Reminder that your model is 3D, so you need to rotate that thing around to make sure you don't have other problems that you created for yourself and didn't realize because you did not spin your model around. Not that I do that all the time. We are coming up to the end of Tavern Keeper's Craft. Not quite there yet. About another 10 minutes or so. If you have any questions about what I'm sculpting, feel free to ask. You may or may not get an answer. And that has nothing to do with I think it's a good question. That just 100% has to do with the fact if I see your question. I usually do. It's been pretty quiet at the Tavern. People have been focused and working. I love it. I think it's cool that a lot of you guys listen to me when you're at work, because like this is me at work too. I've had to specify that a few times recently. Like I'm not a streamer. That's not my job. I live stream my job, but live streaming is not my job. And it's like, well, what's the difference? I'm like, well, the difference is if I ignore y'all and just focus on sculpting, I don't feel bad because that's my job. Oh, goodness. Aloha cries in the chat. What are you guys doing? Right. Depends on how tall Mia made me. Exactly 1 foot tall. Glad you asked. That's in freedom units, thank you. Why is this one edge loop, this last edge loop, stupid? Why? That's fine. I will just delete you. Ha. Ha ha ha. Oh, it crashed. Oh, I guess not ha. Micah says, wait, I've been watching this video for almost an hour and a half. What are you sculpting? Micah, you have been... This is not your first rodeo. You have been here too long to be asking that. I've said it like 7 times, and you have been here. Oh, goodness. Alright, where's our quick save? There it is. Oh, sweet, we actually didn't lose any progress. On this Dwarf Sorceress we're working on. There we go. Also could work as a ranger, also could work as like a paladin. Could work as many things. I read the whole request at the very beginning of Tavern Keeper's Craft. And that's me making fun of Micah, but also for those that are curious, I'm like, oh, what is the flow of the stream? Yeah, we work on a new patron request every single day. At least every single stream. I used to keep working on them in stream until they were finished, but honestly I got kind of bored of doing that. It's been fun starting new projects with y'all each stream. It's definitely my preference. Micah said, you said to ask. Oh, damn, I did. I just had to. It was right there. You got me. I got by Micah. Aloha, your influence is spreading and getting worse Dude, you totally got me. I was like, what? What is this comment from Micah? That is all I have to say about that. I spent all that time reshaping these things, tassets, hip pauldron things, and I'm realizing I could probably just have reused the pauldrons. Yeah, and then I don't have to detail them again. Duh. Soon we will all be Aloha. Don't even say that. We can handle exactly one Aloha. Micah says, I am the Blue Jester, so this is true. This is true. You guys are annoying. Every one of you. Annoying. Anyway, we're gonna do some fabric folds on this center thing because I don't really know what's going on here. And I'll see if I like it better. I don't know if this is gonna be leather or if this is some like fabric leaf corset. I don't know. I just know I need to put some details on here and I'll see if I like it or not. This is the perks of being able to detail things quickly. I just know it being perfectly smooth looks weird. Ooh, that looks weird too. Why does it make it look like she's shaped like a fridge? Probably because it's fridge shaped. Not that there's anything wrong with being shaped like a fridge, but that's not how I intended her to look. I'm gonna flip this 180 degrees. Nope. Literally not like that at all. ZBrush, thank you. Let's split that. Grab this. No. Although it says, okay guys, Mia can't get rid of me because I still have good points stored from the 3-person streams with me, Mia and Mini Blaze. That's true. It really was just like a 3-person stream. It was real quiet. Micah said, I'd say dad humor, but I'm not dad. Uncle though. Yes, I can do that. Uncle humor is still valid. Agreed, Reaper. Okay, what if I just took this thing and instead made this cool, like, tabard? Oh, there we go. I fixed the design. That wasn't hard. I was gonna say, I'm so close, but so far, and I can't figure out why. I figured it out. All right, let's duplicate this. I wanna grab just this piece here and, I don't know, make it interesting. There we go. Oh, that's cute. I love that. Yeah, that's really cool. Aloha, I built this tavern. No, you did heavily inspire and help. Absolutely. God, what is, there's a joke here. I cannot remember what it is. I need to eat. I am the TAVERB. It's like what I'm trying to say. I can't remember. So witty. Hey, someone new is here. Great, little segue. Talking Joey. Hello Joey, welcome in. I need to get into this. I've been trying to use Blender to sculpt, but it's very difficult. Yeah, I am a self-proclaimed Blender snob. Everyone's like, it's free. I'm like, I know, and I'm like too stupid to use it. I could not figure it out. So I taught myself ZBrush and now it's my full-time job. If you're interested in learning ZBrush, I do teach. I have a killer mentorship program. It's only $1 a day. It's all one-on-one. But again, ZBrush is very not free, and I am also not free. So I totally get if it's just a hobby, just like a fun thing. But figure I'd put it out there because it is so much fun to learn. Like, I love what I do. I get to sculpt tons of characters and creatures and monsters. every year. It's just really fun. Yeah. Monkey said, I literally built the TAVERB, full stop. Joey says, I'm making a map for a new campaign I'm doing now. I kind of gave up. That's also totally fair. I find map making is really fun and it's a bit more relaxing. Monkey is like our resident map maker among many other things. They're very skilled. Monkey built the TAVERB official. Yeah. If you're feeling social, Joey, here's an invite to our Discord, because the fact that you came in, you're like, ooh, this looks cool, I want to learn how. And also, you're making a map. That means you're also a tabletop dork. You are one of the peasants. Welcome in. If you're on Discord, you're more than welcome to join. Again, it's free. We'd love to see the map you're working on, that kind of stuff. We have a lot of creatives and artists that hang out. And of course, a lot of people in the tabletop, because that's literally what we're all about. What I'm sculpting right now is actually one of my DM's characters. Do I want the same little piece on the back? I think so. We are just about at the end of Tavern Keeper's Craft. But fear not, I'll be back tomorrow and we will sculpt yet another Patreon request. I have quite a few planned for this week. One of them is the Abomination inspired from Darkest Dungeon. God, I need to finish that game. I got farther in Darkest Dungeon 2 than Darkest Dungeon 1, which I know is uncommon. A lot of people like the first one better. On account of being much better at the second one, I like the second one better. Is that a good reason? No, but it is the truth. Oh, that looks cool. All right. We are going to add a center seam down these simple little shorts, and I'm going to kind of continue that leaf motif we have. I thought I was going to quite literally cover her in leaves, but this worked out. Cute. Emperor says, I wish Mia would teach me, but she says if you touch Blender, you are ineligible and infected. Empress is one of my students for months now. Empress is just being silly. Joey said, just join. Hey, I'll have to do it, all the welcome stuff later, but yeah, I've been playing D&D for a while. Nice. Yeah, I forget that Discord has like a welcome homework for you. Don't feel like you have to do that. It's just a suggestion. Oh, actually, no, I take it back. One of them is posting a picture of your pet. And if you do have a pet, please share a picture. That is required homework. Oh my god, Aloha. It's very friendly here. Very welcome. I have no idea what you're talking about. Alright, when I have an excuse to put flowers on them, I do, but in this case, because she is so leafy, I think I might recreate this TAVERB thing into some sort of hair accessory. I don't want to do like the Grecian look. We're gonna do it single-sided. Let's see if I can make a fun shape here right at the end of Tavern Keeper's Craft. I think just having one kind of tucked in would be really cute. Yeah, all right, we're gonna reposition the gizmo and then I'm gonna use bend arc. There we go. Talking Joey says, which one? No, all of them. 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a snake. Amazing. Amazing. I almost got a snake this weekend. We had a rat snake come into the house, really small. Just a cute little dude. And so I put in my flower planters, which looking back was a rookie mistake because the flower planters are next to the house. So it just literally came right back inside. I don't know if it was just really dehydrated or what, but the snake was like so chill. It was so cool. Like the first time we put it outside, we put on gloves and we were careful. But the second time, this little dude was so cool. You could just like pick him up. He was just super, super chill. He didn't like coil up or nothing. We come up to him. I mean, granted, he's like a baby rat snake. He has no teeth. There's not really anything he could do anyway, but still, he was a cool little dude. Yeah, noodle pet. But yeah, all pets, welcome. All good thing. Currently, I only have 2 pets, not including the snake, which is not a real pet. I have a pug, Maverick, and I have a horse. One of these things is not like the other. Okay. Oh, she looks cute. We did it. I was gonna detail her hair and I never did. I don't know what got me so distracted on that. Whoops. Let me go ahead and do that really quick. So I haven't loaded, oh, ZBrush crashed. That's why. All right, so I'm gonna use the slash brush for this, I think. I'm trying to think what would blend better if we use damn standard or slash. We're gonna use slash. Okay, slash is not, it's in ZBrush, but it's not in the brush palette. Click comma, then brush. Right here, it's gonna say slash, and there's 3 in here, but you only want 1 of them. Double click on slash 2. If your mesh isn't really high res, this is not gonna work. Just so you know. I'm gonna isolate just 1 piece at a time. It is not going to be green. And we're gonna turn on lazy mouse. That's gonna kind of just help with any shakiness of my hand. All right, let's zoom out a bit and let's kind of, just adds this really nice edge. Isn't that pretty? And it looks so detailed so quickly for very little effort. My favorite combo. There we go. This is just to help blend into that really detailed hair base that we have. There we go, that looks so much better. Awesome. Okay, this character could easily just be a ranger instead. I like characters like this because they can fit for so many different classes. It's really cool. Okay. We're gonna save this. I have her as Dwarf Sorceress because she's like an elemental mage. She can primarily using stone and I think she's at tree roots. But by the end of it, I mean, yeah, she looks magic usery. I could see that. She looks like a ranger. Okay. That brings us to the end of Tavern Keeper's Craft. We have a lot planned this week. We are also going to be working on a serpopard. It's just like a serpent leopard, which is from Egyptian mythology. A cosmic horror, which was requested by Otaka and looks to be an absolute nightmare. That's going to be exhausting. Great stream. And then an abomination, and that's going to be the one inspired from Darkest Dungeon, so we'll be doing 2 for that. The abomination and then the monster he transforms into, which is a very illegal double request. I don't allow that shit anymore, but I like Aubrey, so I allowed it once. Generally speaking, if you support me on Patreon, you can make 1 model request per month, not 2. But, yeah. Rules were broken. Whatever. Yeah, Micah said, Ranger, Nature Cleric, Elemental Sorceress, Druid. Yeah, absolutely. All of those fit. And that's why I'm so excited for this website, because I can tag it as all of those things. Very good. Okay. That brings us to happy hour in just a moment here. So during happy hour, I know, Aloha, it is illegal. It's from a February request. I had no boundaries then. It's okay, I've grown. All right. Anyway, we are going to review some work from Reaper and from 2 of my students. Just seeing what it looks like. And then I said 2 of my students, I'm so used to reviewing work from Empress, but I guess I don't have a message from Empress yet. So maybe not. In the meantime, I'm going to say hello to Joey. Thanks for coming in. If you're just lurking in the chat and you're too shy to ask for a Discord invite, where's my music? Don't be too shy. Just, you can type an exclamation point in Discord and it should give it to you too. But you don't have to be part of my Patreon to be part of Discord. It is free. If you are interested in my Patreon, there is a link to that in the description and in the chat right now. It's a screaming deal. I release new models every single Monday, and you get access to all my previous models. Yes, that's over 1,000 at this point. It just felt easier to like share my entire library than like individual monthly releases, because like as a D&D player, like we go all over the place and we run into lots of different things. It's very rare that we have like a strict theme for the entire campaign. So that's like to offer my entire library because, you know, shit happens. Sometimes players be like, just kidding, this setting is lame. Let's go to the astral plane. It happens. Okay. I'm gonna go on break for about 5-10 minutes and then I'm gonna come back. In the meantime, please like the stream, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a drink. All right, that's enough. I need to grab a drink. Oh my God. Bye, see you in a little bit. Hello and welcome to Happy Hour. This is where I focus on my students. They're part of my mentorship program. What is that? It's $30 a month. It's on Patreon. I teach you how to use ZBrush. It's really as simple as that. It depends what your goals are and that kind of stuff. But the program's pretty much the same. I give you a little assignment, you complete it. I review, you get a new assignment. And it goes on like that pretty much until you have a full body of work. And then if you want to sell that and make a living off of it, that's a bit different and a little bit of a different course. But yeah, it's not just a bunch of videos for you to watch all queued up and hope for the best. I'm literally there like every step of the way. Okay. Starting us off is going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to review one of my mod's works. Reaper is hysterical and a bullier of Aloha, my other mod, but also a pretty skilled cartoonist. So here's a lineup she wanted me to review. She says, would you mind critiquing my character lineup? Like hard critique, no holding back. There is no color block in, obviously, so we are going to dig straight into just shape and how well these characters read. For some context, we're gonna go through one by one, but they're all like ghost hunters. So the first one here is on the left, Jed. He's a manager. He tells Nathan, this guy, where to hunt ghosts for various clients. He's a veteran hunter who was forced to retire from field work due to injuries, among other things. Oh yeah, is Reaper still here? Let me grab a timestamp. Really quick. Because Reaper might be asleep because they're a vampire. Okay. Oh look, it's me. Alright, moving on. So you mentioned here that Jed was a veteran hunter but again forced to retire from fieldwork due to injuries, among other things. I love that he comes across as old and crusty right away. One of my favorite things about this character design is actually the fact that his tie isn't quite done right, that it's a little bit loose and you can see that back piece. I really love that detail. What else? Looks like he has like an old intercom or something here. I would almost argue that feels both too old tech and high tech for him. I don't know what old thing people would use. Maybe a walkie-talkie. I don't know. It is cute though. I do like that detail. The big thing that's missing here is you say that he has an injury. He does have a cane, but it doesn't come across as like a ghostly injury. I'm not even sure what that would look like. But something to toy with. I really think that the fact that he's retired is something he can really lean into, or not retired because he's still working and telling people what to do. But again, some sort of ghostly injury could be quite interesting. Think about that. And then something else to really enforce that he's a veteran ghost hunter. So even though he's not actively hunting, maybe he has like a certain like sigil or like a pouch of salt. I have no idea. That's more like demons. But anyway, that's on him. That kind of reflects his past. Because by himself, he kind of looks like an old Karen, which I love the energy. But something to bring in that ghost hunter element, whether it's a ghostly injury. I mean, that could... What would it even look like? I wonder if it's like one of his hands was like slightly becoming ghost-like. I don't know how you would portray that, but again, something to think about. All right. Oh, someone new is here. Dracus. Oh, hey, it is Joey still. I switched accounts. Hello. Welcome back, but not really. All right, number 2, Bonnie is Nathan's friend and still being developed character-wise. But in the current iteration of her, she's in the ghost can't hurt me anymore mindset. This is also why she's the least covered in the group, because it's her way of goading the ghosts to try, I dare you. Oh, I love it. If you have any ideas how to make this more apparent, I'm happy to hear them. You did a good job with her body language. If you want her to have even more of like that look of being uncovered, you could give her shorts. I think that would be fine. I think the weapon doesn't make sense. I like the staff. I don't know what to put on the end of this. It kind of looks like a piece of a fence. I don't know what a ghost hunting weapon would look like. Because you don't want her to look like she has like a magical staff. I get that. I think this needs reworking still. Something about this shape here. It could even be like an emblem for their job, like a logo that they all have on them or something. I'm trying to think. I love her expression. I love her hair. Biased, but yeah. I think a lot about this is just fantastic. I think you could make her boots even a little sportier looking. because right now it's actually a comment I have. All three of these shoes I think are too similar, even though they are obviously different. Obviously, it's a bit more blocky of a boot. These are more tennis shoe-like, and this is kind of in between, like a Doc Martens almost. I think you can push the shoes a little more. A little more. I also just be careful when you are detailing her eyes and her eyebrows, because she does have that strong brow ridge. You don't want that getting lost. I think that's a comment I had for him as well. I think once there's color, that's really not going to be an issue. I'm just trying to be as picky as possible. I have a really hard time being picky with Reaper's work because it's really clean. I'm pushing myself. Number 3, new to the job, Jenna's training under Nathan as an apprentice with an interest in research for ghosts for her own goals. They'll eventually conflict with Nathan's ideology. She's more enthusiastic about documenting ghosts rather than hurting them. I will say, oddly, off the bat, she was one of my favorite designs, despite being kind of boring, I guess, because next to Nathan, they look so opposite. She stands up tall, he looks kind of hunched. So I think you're doing a really good job creating that kind of character foil between them. And again, the camera. The camera actually reads ghost huntery to me. I don't know about again, I don't know a whole lot about ghost hunting, but the camera makes a lot of sense. I really, really like that. I like the looser shape of her shorts. She just comes across as sweet. I don't know if pear-shaped is sweet, but I don't know. That's kind of how she comes across. I like the simple hairstyle, just having the ponytail. Again, despite being kind of boring comparatively to the other designs, she read really strong. I really could tell her intention. And again, her eyes are, I don't know how you managed to make her eyes so big without looking just terrifying, but you did a good job because that's a very, very fragile balance. So good job. Reaper said, Mia, it is a piece of fence. Well, damn, maybe you should just keep it then. Make it even more fence-like, because I kind of picked up on that and I liked it. Maybe it's this ball right. Man, I knew what it was. Success. Okay. Moving on to Nathan. Nathan is an exorcist who's hired to deal with various ghostly problems for clients. TLDR, a good ghost is a dead ghost, and that's why his hand is hovering over his weapon when he sees a ghost beside him. Yeah, it looks like his weapon is like a cane of sorts, which is similar. It looks like, it kind of reminds me of what he has here. I like how grouchy and crotchety he looks. He obviously has a tragic backstory of why he came out this way and why he's so crusty. Let's be real. I feel like he is just the younger version of Jed. And I love that. Like, even their hair. It's the same hair, but upside down. I love that. What else? Something, I mean, it doesn't have to be an injury. Something that would explain why he's so crusty. Like, maybe he's like missing a single finger. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of thinking it'd be cool if it's maybe his design that would kind of imply why he's so upset. You know, maybe one eye that doesn't work, so it's like a transparent color. I like the smokes. I think it'd be cool if he even had like a pack of smokes poking out of his pocket. Like he's just like a chronic chain smoker because he's so stressed and grouchy. I do like that idea as well. Again, great shapes here. I like it. These two together. Personal favorite is probably her, but that's just because I like her vibes. And you gravitate towards characters that you want to be like, and I'm like, she's so cool. Even though I'm 100% more like her, but this isn't about me. Anyway, on to the last one here. The woman is the client whose husband recently died. In the comic demo, she cannot see him, but she can certainly feel him, and this fear and the unknown is what prompts her to call the experts. Enter conflict about her not being ready to let her husband go, that kind of stuff. Okay. The slumped over body language is just great. I like, because all of these characters are pretty lanky and leggy, especially Nathan, and I can't remember her name. I like that we have some different body shapes here. Not so much because like, oh, diversity representation. No, just so it's easy to recognize a character at a glance. I like that even her hair is kind of like drooped and sad. I can't tell what she's holding. It's like she's pinching a button or something. I think this is great though. I'm trying to think of a way that, I don't know if these characters would interact more shape-wise. Because she's kind of like the sad bean, And then you do have some of these like sharper tail coming off here, and then a bit more like this belly and this sharpness. Just trying to think. I do like that his mouth kind of looks like the same shapes as her hair. But maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe these need to break up a little bit more, because this whole strip right here can read as a little samey, especially as you're going to see it multiple times over comic panels. I mean, this character obviously has such a story right from the get-go. I especially like the facial features here. That rounded nose and the rounded chin, it's pretty much the exact same shape twice, I think draws attention in a good way. Same with the collar being weirdly high and giving this character like a short neck. I like that too. She very much so gives like sad turtle energy. I think we've all felt like this at some point. I like it. I imagine it's like a memento to do with her husband, whatever she's holding. That would tie that together too. Reaper said, Mia, it's her husband's wedding ring. Ha! I was figuring it out. Roughly sketched out, so I'm not worried about being clear until later. I got you. I was getting there. I was getting there. Very cool. It looks like she's like in a work uniform right now. The name tag. Like she works at a hotel. Just my first thoughts. I think this is really strong. I'd read the shit out of a comic like this. So I'm proud of you. Yeah, Empress is like, I love this Reaper. Yeah. I hope any of that feedback was somewhat pushy. Again, I have a really hard time criticizing your work because good design is intentional design, and you are nothing if not intentional, and that really reads in your work. Yeah, my biggest thing was, I guess, was shoes. I think that's the one thing I can really be like, okay, these 3 shoes are samey. But again, I'm so proud of you. This is just, you're awesome. All right, up next we have Just Lingual. Oh, new member. No, they're not new. It's Alexander. Oh, it's the Alexander membership dump. I should know. Thank you, Alexander. Also, hi. We're in a happy hour reviewing student work, but first we reviewed Reaper's amazing drawings here. Thank you so much. You have regifted yourself a membership. Congratulations. Oh, it's very sweet of you. Yeah, how many of these names recognize? Obviously, Dewey28, they've been a patron for a long time. Just Lingual. Just Lingual's been here. Gorgeous. Empress says, sorry, Mia, no updates. I do have extra scribbles, I guess, but that's about it. I love me some scribbles. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you so much, Alexander. I'm gonna look at Just Lingual's review here really quick. Oh, here we go. Here is the before watching the video. So their prompt was to follow the sculpt with me here. And yeah, you pretty much nailed it right away. I duplicated subtools and tried using Dam Standard for the wood texture by hand drawing it. The process is actually really close to the video. It was. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Here it is after watching the video, a little sharper. Of course, there wasn't color second time I worked on it. I also missed the mark on the plug. No, it's fine. I liked the first one I did visually more, but the skills I learned from the video were helpful. Good. Awesome. Oh, I'm okay with moving forward. Heck yeah. Good job, Just Lingual. I like the first one a bit more too. Heck yeah. Well, let's get a fun new assignment for Just Lingual as all of y'all enjoy your new memberships. I need to celebrate that with a new emoji. What do you guys think? Because as of right now, these are all the custom emojis we have. I'm gonna have to put all of them in the chat. What would you guys like? Let me know. Oh hey, Ray got another membership. I need to check on Ray. It's been a bit. What a strong start to September too. I was feeling good today too. I never get tired of these little like effects too. Love that. And I'm really proud of you, Just Lingual, that you do keep coming back to this and making a little bit of progress. Because I get that. That's one of the hardest things. Reaper says, I'd like an emoji of your doggo. Maverick emoji. I can do that. Mass news and doggo, right? Alois doing trying to say a torrent, a Torben emoji probably. Because it's been so consistent between membership gifts. Obviously, Alexander was a huge part of that. Oh goodness. RB Gaming does that pretty frequently. And then we actually do have signups from here time to time. So I would like to up the emoji game. And this just really reminds me to do so. No, Aloha. You get no say. Back to your dungeon. Alright, just saying, well, I think that just full-on project work would still be a little bit much to dump you on right now. But I like having you on these bits of practice. And I don't think you've done the magic stuff. I will say, this is a little boring for what you're capable of because your sketching levels are so past this. They're so above this. I want you to do a magic staff. But if you have time, and I don't want you to feel like too bogged down by this, I would really like if you did this one twice, but similar to Empress, that you came up with your own design that you liked. Like, look at this beautiful thing that Empress made. Okay, you don't have to go crazy, you don't have to overthink it. And if you need help of like how to bring that together, you just let me know, okay? Oh my gosh, the new scrippies have been added. Please ignore the poly paint. I will not, they're amazing. Empress, these were so dumb and adorable. Oh my god. Goofy little guys. Fantastic. These kind of things, they give an artist life. They really do. It's so important to have a series like that. But yeah, just like, well, I think you could come up with a really cool magic staff. No pressure, but I think you could do a great job. Yeah. And then Monkey said, oh, someone gifted memberships. It was Alexander that just kind of dropped. I mean, I'm sure they're lurking right now. They dropped in, gave a cool 20 memberships. Thank you so much again. And now I'm like, you know what? We need to upgrade the membership emoji game. It's time. This one is me. Thank you, Empress. I'm still gonna do stickers and all that kind of cool stuff. I just got better at picking, like, I can only do one project at a time. Until that project is finished, I am not allowed to do anything else. So I've been holding myself to that. Yeah. It's difficult to be disciplined, but it's important. Well, in the meantime, especially, do you guys have any questions for me? Whether it's sculpting questions, just general art, a little bit of business, let me know. I'm happy to answer. We're kind of wrapping up the stream right now. We're coming up on 2 hours. I think I have time. I don't know. 20 memberships is so generous. I'm trying to think about time to do a TAVERB pet right now. Because it doesn't take me that long to do. Thinking. Ooh, Maniac has an update. Okay, perfect. I'll check that out in the meantime. Oh, is this you? Duh, I almost skipped over you. Me just ignoring Maniac. Oh my god, so sorry. Oh my gosh, it's finally done. Is the pose any good? Bro, are you kidding? This is amazing. I'm so proud of you because damn, that was a hard model. Wow. Look how creepy and how slick this turned out. Please tell me you're like crazy proud of this. It's hard to judge the pose too much because I only can see this one view here. And it's without perspective, so it's gonna look a little flatter than it actually is. Something I can kind of tell right from the get-go is that you have a pretty straight line from nose to tail tip. You could just mask like his hips back and just give him a little like curve. So like right now he's straight. Just give him a little curve. You could. You don't have to. This is already fantastic. I'm so proud of you. This thing has haunted your dreams. But you did it, my dude. Isn't it crazy how much like this is cool. But this looks so much better. Like a pose really brings it together. Micah, what are you sculpting? Micah agrees, that looks fantastic. Yeah, everyone, can we hype up Maniac in the chat right now? Because this is fantastic. Like, I'm just gonna, good job. Seriously. There's so many different textures on here that you did well. Honestly, one of the best parts about this is the skin texturing and like kind of fabric fold ripples you have right here. This was a tough one, dude. You killed it. I really think that you made the original concept your own a bit too. My husband's hyping you up too. Good job. Man, and just a reminder, look at this. You did so much work. Oh my God, I'm a bit floored right now. Wow. They sculpted this from scratch. This is their first project with me, I think, and I think it killed you a little bit. We went from this, okay, everybody pay attention. We drop everything. They went from this, Maniac, to this. If you are not, like, legit, please give yourself a little applause. Buy yourself a little snack. I don't care if it's $1 ramen cup. I don't care what it is. But you deserve a treat, because this is huge. You gotta celebrate those wins. I can't believe you didn't give up on this. I'm so proud of you, man. It's just sticking with it that's the hardest part. And like, also the timeline here, like you came back to it. You didn't care. So you started this in April. Yeah, I have to count my months still. Stop. In April, listen, some people could be like, oh man, it took me months to do this, boo. Doesn't matter. No, life does not care how long it took you to get something done, unless it's your job. Then you don't get paid. But anyway, for your hobbies, just be excited that you did it. Yeah. Heck yeah, dude. Empress says, sweet heavens, I knew they'd appreciate it. Maniac says, I'm glad I didn't quit midway. I'm floored. I'm so proud of you. Again, I didn't know. I was like, I could see them being like, this was getting burned out on it. But you came back to it. And you mentioned, yeah, I've said I'd like to move into supports. I'm trying to think. You're going to print on resin. I don't think I have a tutorial on how to do supports. I use G2 box. Print this without the base. And if you do print this with the base, I would lower these toes so they touch the base just a little bit. It's going to be so much easier to print. Now I got printing brain on. This is really not going to be too bad to 3D print. But if you are going to print it with the base, just make sure you kind of lower those in. Alrighty, let me grab... There is a lesson on my website that shows you how to get this ready for 3D printing. So let me go ahead and send that your way. I might have already sent it to you. I'm gonna send it again because you need to get this poly count reduced and all that kind of stuff. All right, 3D print preparation. I'm gonna send this over to you. If you run into any errors, you know what to do. Send me a message. I am happy to help. I am here to help you out. This is a 20-minute long video or lesson because there's a lot it goes over. But yeah, you got this. Man, good stream. Good start to the month. We had a lot of new people in the chat today too. That was a fun one. A lot of good updates from the peasants. The star is gonna have me Maniac finishing that project though. I mean, my goodness, that's awesome. And then Maniac, I don't know what you want to work on next, but you're more than welcome to let me know if you want to have another project or if you want to take a break from projects. We can just focus on some like individual assets. Like I have that potion assignment, I have that magic staff assignment, but you can push it and do your own design work. So you can still go through the whole process of like block out to detail and post-process in 3D print. But it's something that's a little smaller in scope where you're still exercising all of those muscles though. But let me know. And Dracus is back. Welcome back. I was just admiring some of my student work and the progress that they made. It's worth showing again because one of my students has finished this project I'm working on for months and it just came out. It speaks for itself. Look at that. Look at all these textures here too. That's clean. And I'm most excited about this because they started. This is their early stage. All blockouts look like this. This is a good blockout. If you look at this and you get discouraged and quit, you will never, ever get to this. Enjoy all the stages. Seriously, they're so fun. All right, that kind of wraps us up. I think we're gonna move into last call here. I keep doing that. I need to move my buttons. Here we go, last call. I have them right next to each other. I've been moving stuff around my stream deck, so bear with me. Oh, goodness. I had a lot of fun with you guys today. If you enjoyed the stream, please like it. If you really enjoyed it, please subscribe. That's the easiest way to keep track of how often I stream, which is pretty much every day around noon or 1 Eastern time. I've been pretty consistent. I've been doing this every week since last October. So yeah, pretty awesome. It's gonna be another fantastic month of streaming at the TAVERB, and we have been pretty consistently starting a new character every single day. So that means you'll see up to 4 to 5 new characters, creatures. I do terrain every now and then too. It just depends what my patrons are requesting. All right, and then to sign us off, I'm going to link both of my Patreons in the chat. Both of them are free to join. Just keep that in mind. If you have a Patreon account, you literally just click join for free, and then you can stay posted on all like the updates and all that kind of stuff coming out. And then every now and then I run flash sales too, so keep an eye out for that. One of them is for 3D printed models, and one of them is to learn how to sculpt. Pretty cool. All right. I think that's everything. So if you've got any last minute questions, now is the time to ask. If you remember a question the second end of the stream, again, I'm going to stream again tomorrow, so don't worry about it. Gotta think about the rest of the day. I think I'm gonna make pot stickers for dinner. We'll see. Oh, I should save this. I'm trying to like run through my little checklist with the end of my stream. Like, what else do I do? There's Micah. Wait, a question. If you ask what we're sculpting today, you're gonna get your first ban. What are you sculpting? Get out. Goodbye, Micah. You're gonna be gone for a whole 10 seconds. No. Aloha says, I have a question. Yes, Aloha. Jacka says, can I have some? No. Unless you want to drive all the way out to East Tennessee, then no. Reaper says, you always have a question. And that's directed aggressively at Aloha. I love that. Aloha said, I didn't think I'd get this far. Alright. Peasants be peasanting. And we got some new peasants today. I like it. I knew immediately too. I'm like a 100% accuracy rate right now when someone comes in. Again, Dracus, you came in and started talking about maps, and I'm like, ooh, you're a dork. Great. Come here. Join the TAVERB. One of us. Peasant. That reminds me of Duke. Duke's one of our... You've now replaced Duke. You're now our new guy. I like it. Ricky. Is this for 3D printing? Alright, with that, I leave you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for making my day a little bit better. I hope the stream made yours a little bit better too. All right, see you tomorrow.